Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the meeting. Thank you, Sydney and Al, for joining. And hopefully a few other people will join in, but if not, it's just the three of us bouncing ideas off each other, solving problems, doing it big in the real estate business. So what are you guys working on right now? Let's start with Sydney. Did you already get your license?
So I have my state test date August 28th. So right now I'm just studying, keep just continuously studying for that.
Okay.
And then just doing, the skill bridge requirements, weekly meetings, attending some of those state contract stuff through the world, that world thing.
XP
And
World?
then
Yeah.
the cold calls. Today was
Okay.
actually my most successful cold calling. I did it from because watching the skill bridge program, they discussed like the cold calling, and one
Yeah.
of it was saying like, oh, try doing the 8 to 10, and then I think six, no, 8 to 10, and then 7 to 9 or something like that is like the most successful time. So I tried doing the 8 to 9 today, and actually, out of 108 calls, I had actually 18 people pick up, and we actually had a conversation. One of them actually told me that she's not looking in the moment just
Mm,
because of due to the market, but put her on the callback list starting next year. So I was like, okay. So that was the most successful that I've had so far.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had 18 conversations.
Yes.
Dang, that's pretty good. And so with that lady that said follow up in a year, did she explain why, like why a year?
She just said, because I asked her once she said that right now the market's not looking good. Then I said, well, can I'm looking right now hunting for new deals. Would you like me to, keep you updated? And if you want to add anything to your portfolio? And she said, yeah, actually, I am looking for that. And I was like, okay, what's your time slot right now? You're looking for 3 months, 6 months, and she just said, reach back to me at the end of this year, beginning of next year. That's when my husband and I should be ready to, push forward for more properties. I was like, okay,
Okay,
yeah.
nice. And so she's looking to buy or
Yes,
both.
yes, because that was my script was
Mm,
to buy. Yeah.
okay, nice. Um, one little thing that I've heard, as far as when people give you a timeline, and if it is it's proven to be true. Like if they say a year, cut that
Mhm.
whatever the number is, cut it in half. Uh,
Okay.
for like the time that you like seriously follow up with them. I would recommend still like staying in touch with sending her like a really helpful thing is video messages, like
Okay.
a really short, but it doesn't have to be longer than like a minute, of just like, hey, just wanted to send you a quick market update, here's what's going on, or some random little piece of information, or just like a property review, like, hey, I saw this property and I thought it kind of fits what you're looking for, or might be a good
Okay.
investment. Because one of the cool things about video messaging is like people start to feel like they know you. Like if they see a bunch of your videos, they
Hmm.
feel like they know you. Like think about people you've seen on TV, like shows that you watch all the time. Like if you saw them in person, you like have all this stuff to talk about them, and you
Right.
feel like you know them, even though they're like, who is this person? And
Right.
so
Okay.
yeah, it builds that connection. Like you've already established that initial connection, so you can build upon that instead of like a year from now you reach out to them again. You're like, hey, we talked a year ago, and they're like, there's been like 50 people that have called me
Right.
since you called
Okay.
me. Yeah, but yeah, nice job on that. That's it's encouraging to
Yeah,
hear.
it's getting a little, it was crazy because just yesterday, I was speaking to my wife about it. I was all like, man, I'm making all these calls, and I was like, it's starting to get to me, like all the no's and everyone hanging up. And I was like, sometimes I feel like I don't have it. And she's like, you're just starting. She's like, it's only been like a month and a half. She's like, just keep going. And then, what do you know? Today, like I said, was my most successful, I guess you can say like rate. So yeah.
Mm, yeah, yeah. You just got to think of it like what your most recent familiar experience of like being in the military. Like think back to when you were starting like first day of basic training and you're like
Mhm.
you don't even know how to like stand properly in a
Right.
position of attention or whatever marching, and so you're just like a boulder, and you have to like chip away until you're this refined piece of art.
Right.
And so like
Okay.
every day is just another swing of the hammer chipping away at that rock to create that piece of art. So But I definitely know the feeling getting hung up on. You're just like, I'm just trying to help people out.
You're
Like,
right. Yeah.
why
Yeah.
are you getting mad at me for calling you?
Right.
Yeah. Um, how's everyone else doing? Al?
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry, my speaker went out on my computer, so now it's all gerbilly, so I have to put my headphones in. But
Okay.
yeah, doing well out here. Kind of in the same boat, a little bit behind Sydney with the cold calling stuff. You know, pretty much a couple weeks consistently into it, and it's getting to the point where it's just now it's like I don't really care. You not care, but like I can get on the phone and be like, oh, they can be mean to me or tell me to go, kick rocks, and I'm like, okay. So I'm at that point where I'm getting into conversation with people, and now kind of like we talked about last week was like getting the hook.
Mhm.
And being able so comfortable getting on the phone with someone, introducing myself, hey, doing the script, but then just really trying to get into a flow of like how to kind of sell not only myself, but I'm not licensed yet, so I'm selling, for Gwilt, for
Mhm.
David and Tasha. So my thought process, maybe moving forward, now that I'm comfortable, like getting on the phone, starting a conversation, but really, maybe like getting some good stats of like, hey, I'm not licensed, but who I'm working for, has done this amount of deals, and we and they can really help you out. So it's kind of where I'm at right now. I don't know if you have any suggestions. I know there's scripts, and I've looked at scripts, but I just don't want to, one, be robotic, and two, be like a used car salesman, if that makes sense, just because that's
Yeah.
just not my personality. Um, but getting someone on the phone, it seems like, if they're willing to listen, then I'm like, okay, I can, possibly, have them on the phone for more than, 30 seconds to a minute, and maybe get an email or contact information. So.
Mhm. Yeah. It's challenging because everybody's different. Like some people, they're just already pre-programmed. Like if it says spam risk, they're like maybe gonna say like if they say anything, that they're gonna be like hello, and it's like not very helpful, not very friendly, and they're just ready to hit the hang up button as soon as they hear that it's anything that's like sales related. Um, so yeah, it definitely is challenging. There's lots of different techniques. Like if you know like something about them, that's like I went back and forth with that with like doing a little bit of research, like trying to find the person on Facebook. That's a huge waste of time because like the the 10 minutes that you spend or 5 minutes, even if it's a minute, trying to research some person to like find something you know about them so you can keep them on the line, it's not worth it. But just I think just sounding friendly and sounding um, like somebody that's pleasant to talk to will help with making it past that like first 5 to 10 seconds. And I was actually going to ask Sydney like what was effective for him with doing that, but one thing that I read in a book is just smiling. You can hear the difference in someone's tone if you just smile, even if it's a forced smile. Your voice changes and it sounds friendly. And so like people compared to like, hey, this is Warren Morales with the Grill Team. Like nobody wants to hear that. They're like, this guy's having a bad day. I don't want to talk to this guy. Click. Um, but if you're like friendly, like, hey, how's it going? This is, and then there's lots of techniques like saying your name first or like all the requirements and everything like that. But overall, just sounding friendly, I think is a easy piece of advice to achieve. What do you think, Sydney? Did you take notes on like what was most effective with staying on the line?
The thing what you just said really is just smiling because just in general through my life, if you talk to my friends, my family, they always say, "Oh, you have that, that RBF. You just look intimidating." But when they're like, "That's what's funny is you look intimidating," but once you start talking to people, your facial expression, people actually just start, I guess, vibing with you. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what it is. That's just my face. But so
Mm,
when I make these calls, I actually do practice that, just already having that smile. And then what's funny about it is once I speak to someone and they answer the phone like that, like, hello, like you can kind of tell they don't even want to talk to me. Well, once my voice kind of changes with the smile, it's funny because their tone changes. They're actually more friendly. So I'm like, okay. So yeah, that's one thing I really just practice is just that smile through the phone.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, because I think it's like human nature that will tend to kind of mirror what the other person is doing. Like if you're talking to somebody that's like very business and very militaristic, and they're always talking like they're giving some kind of military brief, like you'll find yourself, if you're talking to that person, you'll find yourself kind of like assuming that same posture. But if you're just like, hey, how's it going? Is this so and so that's looking to buy a house? But not like over the top. Like, you find the right balance. But yeah, people will like, oh, hey, how's it going? Yeah, how can I help you? Or what are you calling for? Yeah, but yeah, good stuff with that, Sydney and Al, Nathan. How's it going?
Hey, it's going.
I think you just muted yourself. There you go. I think Nathan is fixing his mic. Mr. Uribe, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, this is Nathan. Can I help you?
Oh, Nathan's
He's
back.
on the phone. I'm gonna mute him real quick. Go ahead, Mr. Uribe.
Oh, okay. So I'm in the same way with cold calling. One of the things that I found out that I kind of struggled with was it's either the script or the tone. The script is either, if I read it to the teeth, it's too robotic. But if I kind of cut it in between, for some reason they always think that I'm the one trying to buy the house, and then I have to awkwardly explain that I'm not the one buying the house. And so I'm kind of trying to modify it in a way where it's like naturally going into, it's not me. I'm just offering the service or helping them provide the service kind of way.
Yeah. Yeah, you bring up a good point. Something I thought of, like when like people think that you're the one buying the house, and so something that I always, because a lot of the scripts says it like tells you to say to the person, hey, like I have a cash buyer, but you're like, I'm lying to this person. I don't have a cash buyer. Why would I say this? Because then they're gonna ask like details about the cash buyer, and I'm gonna like this whole spiral of thoughts happens. And so if you talk with your like friends or like people in the area, like this is mostly like once you're licensed, or even if you're not licensed and you know of buyers that are being helped by the team, then you know like the general criteria of what they're looking for. Then you can actually, with confidence, be like, hey, we have a buyer that's looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath, single family home with a yard. We noticed that your property kind of fits that description. Are you looking to sell? Like it gives you that confidence to have that conversation. And so then try to minimize the confusion of like, who are you? Why are you calling me? You're trying to buy my house? Oh, you're not trying to buy my house. You're trying to sell my house to somebody else. And just like minimizing that confusion will definitely help with keeping the conversations going.
Okay. Right.
Going back to Sydney, for the test prep, like you feeling good about it, feeling confident, just counting down the days?
Really what's been helping is from the get-go, what I learned from, the Skill Bridge program is just block scheduling. So I do about an hour of which Conrad sent us the 300 fast facts, the vocabulary. I do about an hour of that. My wife will quiz me and then take a break. Then I'll do another hour of my actual books. The Colibri, I think that's how you pronounce it, is the company I went through. So I'll go through that. Then later on, I'll go through YouTube, which has California free test prep questions. And then I'll just go along with that and just have them. But the biggest challenge is, I don't know, just really all the information. I hear different things like, oh, focus on this or focus on that. But I'm just like, I don't know, it's almost just like military testing for promotion. You're just like, there's so much information. I don't know what to study for. So really, I'm just trying to box schedule my studying habits, but that's been working out. Going back, sorry, I know you were asking me. I wanted to go back to the cold calling with Vulcan. I click on the for rent by owners folder. And why is it that at times when someone picks up, either the names don't match up, or even when I spoke to someone, they're confused because the property wasn't matching? Is that typically an issue we see with, or Is that just something I need
So you're
to know?
saying you call somebody and you're like, hey, do you live at 123 Main Street? And they're like, no, that's not me.
That right, or like, oh, I'm off. Do you want to sell rather than rent the property? And they're like, what property? I'm not doing, this. And then I tell them the property that's listed. And they're like, no, I think you have someone that's not my property. So I'm just like, okay.
Okay.
It's happened to me multiple times. So I'm just like, is
Mhm.
this like, a glitch
Yeah.
in the system or?
It could be a number of things. So everybody's name is attached to their property, like on public record.
Mhm.
So you can, like, if you, whatever state you're, like for us, it's RPAD, Real Property Assessment Division. So if I Google RPAD Honolulu, I can
Mhm.
look up who owns any property. So that property might be owned by an actual human being with their name, or it might be owned by like a trust or LLC, whatever. And so depending on like how that was filed and like when it was filed, all that stuff, and then when that information was pulled into Vulcan, because there's lots of different companies out there that sell that data, and so depending on when all those things happened, it might just be that property is either recently sold, or maybe that person was like on a phone bill for that property, or somehow like it's associated with it. There's all kinds of ways where
Okay. Okay.
cause confusion there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. I mean, yeah, I just try to pivot out of that, and
Mm.
then just, tell them, oh, there was just probably a glitch in our system or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, it's good
That's why I avoid, because what I also learned when try to make it personal, where like let's say the name's Patrick, just kind of start off with hi Patrick, just right off the bat. But after figuring out this glitch, sometimes it's not that person.
Yeah.
I just stop initially, greeting the person. I'll just go with my name and just, what I'm offering. I don't even address them personally anymore, because again, there's so many glitches with whether it's a female listed or a male, and then I'm just making myself look like a fool
Yeah.
through the phone
Nice.
call. So
Yeah, that's where that military training comes in, being able to
right.
think on your feet. Because
Mhm.
yeah, maybe you're calling somebody thinking it's a seller, and it's someone completely random, but they're still like willing to stay on the line with you,
Mhm.
and so you can still just pivot like, oh hey, like are you in position to buy or sell? Like what's your story? And just make
Right.
conversation with them,
Mhm.
because otherwise, if you just hang up and you're just like,
Right.
nothing's gonna come from that. But it's
Yeah.
if you keep them on the line, worst case, it's a learning opportunity.
Mhm.
Practicing, just
That's
having a
what
conversation.
David spoke to us about last week, was really, because I addressed this cold calling thing and just a situation, and that's what I'm
Mm,
taking it as now. Just really learning how to think on my feet and ask the right questions, because that's what we also learn is if you can keep them on the phone longer and ask the right questions, you can actually probably turn them into one of your clients or
mm,
a lead. So.
yeah, yeah, and so something I've noticed that's helped a lot without like realizing it that I was doing it is just it's like you spend a lot of time scrolling on social media. If you shift some of that time to scrolling on the MLS, and once you have MLS access, you'll know like it'll take time. Like at first it'll be like, I'm never going to learn like all these properties and like the general price range of this area and that neighborhood and HOAs and all that stuff. But over time, and like as you click through and as you're like shopping for clients or just like kind of bored and like clicking around, you'll kind of upload that database into your brain. And so when you're talking to somebody and they're like, yeah, I'm looking for like a 2 bed, 2 bath HOA under $500, and you're automatically, your brain will just be like, boom, this place over here on this side of the island is great for that. How do you feel about drier climate? Like all that stuff will just come to you. But yeah, it's just kind of a random thing to think about as far as having information to hand off to people, but also like market data, like um, keeping up to speed with like what's going on in the market, interest rates, all that stuff, so that people are like, oh, I don't know, I think it's a really bad time to buy. I heard interest rates are like 10.5%, and you're like, that's completely wrong. I can send you a link with all the interest rates that are being offered by a bunch of different banks, and that's not anywhere close. But yeah. Alrighty.
Really just saturating myself with real estate, and my wife is getting a taste of it. So whenever we're just going on a drive, and just like what you're saying, kind of like that market data, I'll just start pointing things out, like, oh, like I've learned that this area, this and that. She's like, is this how our car rides are going to be now? We're just going to talk about real estate. I'm just like, well, it's new to me, so it's exciting now, So I want to talk to you about this stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, maybe she'll get the bug too, and you guys will start doing real estate together. And
yeah, something like you and your wife.
yeah, it's been good. How about you, Nathan?
Hey Zor, what's up, man? Hey, sorry about that
Yeah.
earlier. Wasn't trying to be rude. I had a technological situation that had overwhelmed my resources. I was getting a phone call at the same time that you were adjusting me, and I didn't know like where my headphones were for a second. So apologize for
good.
that, man. Hey,
No worries.
good to see you guys. Good to talk to you, man. I had a couple of things with real estate related this week that I thought were pretty interesting, and I just wanted to kind of comment on, maybe beneficial to anybody out there that's thinking about getting into it and wondering, hey, how do I get my name out there and start to get connected in the local network and that kind of stuff. One was I scheduled a meetup with an agent out here on the Gwilt team named Delabar. He's down here for a little bit, and we had a great meetup. And he shared a tip where he was doing some Lyft and Uber driving while he was waiting for his real estate stuff to get off the ground. And he was just like talking to the people in the car about what you do, what your big job is, right, while you're driving Lyft and Uber. And he said it was a great way to kind of meet people and like, get his name out there. And if he had business cards, that would have been a great way to, just get to people. People, they're always going to the airport or coming from the airport if you're a business person and you live kind of around here. And so I was like, oh, that's a great idea. Like get your, maybe get your business cards in the cars of some other Uber and Lyft drivers, and small fee, direct market, to consumer kind of thing. I thought that was neat. The other thing that I thought was fun is I'm getting into pickleball, trying to play pickleball here, just turned 40, got to stay active, some of those old people games. And there was a guy that I ended up playing with who had a QR code on the back of his shirt, big EXP logo. And so had a great conversation with him about like, hey, what are you doing? How long you been doing it? How can we work together, kind of make a contact there? But I was also like, man, everybody else out here too is seeing real estate on his shirt and a scannable QR code if they need more information. And I apologize. I gotta go again. This is another realtor calling me. So be right back.
Thanks, Nate. So you brought up a couple good points. So the whole like marketing in Uber type thing. So if you have like that was actually a topic I wanted to bring up myself about just having a mindset of abundance. And so if you like in your mind, you're like, no, I have to be either at open house or sitting at my phone on my computer, talking on my phone with clients in order to talk about anything real estate related. So if you have that mindset, then it's going to really limit the like number of connections you can develop to let people know that you're in the real estate business. But if you're just like open and to like understanding that a client can come from out of anywhere, then you'll really reap that. And so like one example from just yesterday, a client we helped with buying about 3 years ago just left the island to her next duty station. She was in the process of so EXP doesn't do property management. So she had hired a property manager to rent out her property. Wasn't working out. I have one of my doctors actually. She's in the process of looking for a rental, and like even though we don't do rental, like helping people with finding rentals because there's no benefit from it. Sometimes you can ask for like a finder's fee or something, but anyways, I'm just helping this person for free, just being a friendly person in hopes of one day helping her buy a property. But if it doesn't, then she'll at least know that I'm a helpful person and can pass my name to her friends. But a complete curveball, a potential future lead. We were finished up showing her the rental property, and we were just standing outside, and then I see a friend from college pass by that I hadn't seen in 12 years, but by some miracle, her name came back to my mind, and I was like, hey, and went over, said hi to her, caught up for a little bit. But yeah, she just arrived on island, and then she mentioned that one of her friends that she was doing some other training with is also heading this way. and that she would pass my information to them. But that's just an example of how, like with the Uber situation, if you're doing some kind of part-time job or just some type of sport, something in the community like pickleball, volunteering, and you make it known, but not like shoving it in people's face that you're in the real estate business, then people they'll like you. They'll see you're a friendly, normal person, not just trying to get everybody to buy and sell homes. And they'll be like, "Yeah, this is my friend, not just like this realtor I know." They'll be like, "This is my friend Al who helps people buy and sell homes. Here's his business information." So yeah, something to think about when you're just out and about, not really in the buying and selling homes mindset. It could really come out of nowhere. We got about 5 minutes until we're halfway through the hour. Anyone have questions about anything? Sydney?
Last week, David was talking to us about using this time as interns to really just start prepping our business. That way, when you become fully licensed, you're not then starting. Is there maybe a checklist or something that you've used, or even like maybe like top 5 things to kind of start prep get your business on up and running that
Yeah. So I would say I would kind of make it like 1A and 1B, so like pretty much on the same level with each other. Number 1A, I would say, is talking to people. And so I always say, like, go through your phone, A to Z, call every single person in there, or send them a text message with like a small video message or something where a link to your, like if you're starting a YouTube channel or your Facebook, is go through your entire contact list of people that you have a phone number for, and let them know, like, either you're in the real estate business or hey, let's catch up, like depending on the relationship you have with that person. If it's some like random person you worked with on an exercise 3 years ago, maybe just send them your business card, like just randomly. And maybe they're like, who's this weirdo? I don't remember who this was. They ignore it. Or maybe they're like, hey, thanks for this. I have a friend that's actually moving to that area, whatever. So that's 1A, talking to people. Because if you're not talking to people, then you're not going to have any business. 1B, and the reason it's B instead of A, is your CRM. So your whether it's KV Core, Follow Boss, whatever it is, get that like Loctite with all the details, your schedule, links and everything for like setting appointments with people, all that stuff. And the reason that's 1B, not A, is because if you have this amazing CRM with a bunch of contact information and stuff, but you never talk to people, then you're still not going to have any business. But if you're like talking to people while getting your CRM set up, getting it really refined and continually working on it, making it part of your daily schedule, then you'll be in a really great position. And I really say if you stick to those two, it'll set you in the right direction. Lots of other directions you can go from there, like making a YouTube channel and focusing all your time and effort on that. Establishing like your branding and hiring somebody to do all your marketing for you, all that stuff. There's like so many different directions, but after, I would say those are the main 2 things that you could focus all your time on, and then you'll just kind of figure out like what your passion is, and then go from there in the other directions.
that CRM we have access to start refining as interns, who are fully licensed to have?
Yeah, I don't think you have access just yet until you're licensed. Definitely not KV Core. KV Core is one that's provided once you're licensed, but a CRM is really just a matter of having a Excel spreadsheet or just like a list, name, phone number, email address at the minimum, and then after that, mailing address, birthday, where they I guess mailing address is the same thing as where they live currently, but details about them, like how many are they married, do they have kids, all that stuff, like things you can, if you ever reach out to them, you can have those forward conversations, FORD, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. So what they do for work. Are they still active duty? Are they civilian? What are they doing for employment? What do they do for fun? Are they big pickleball fans or chess players? Like, what can you have a conversation with them about? And then D, dreams or desires. Like, are they world travelers, and you can bring that up in the conversation, or were they like finishing up college, looking to get a job somewhere, and they might need help relocating, all that stuff. Yeah, so so you can start on that CRM now, even if you're not licensed, by just consolidating all that information to an organized spreadsheet. And if you have a really nice organized spreadsheet, you could even use that and like almost upload it directly to your CRM once you have access to it.
All right. Thank you, Zor.
Yep. All righty. I'll stick around for a few more minutes in case anyone has any saved questions, but have a wonderful week. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to reach out. Aloha.
Thanks, Zor. Have a great day. All right.
See y'all. You too.
See you now.
Thanks, Stuart. See you guys.
See you, Nate.